Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees and pranams, thank you very much for joining in for our Ramayana study session. Let's quickly start with prayers. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत्. Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you again for our Ramayana study session. We are in a very interesting phase of the Kishkinda Kand, where we are seeing that all of the Vanaras, Hanumanji, Sugriva has assembled a huge number of various varieties of species, bears and monkeys, and all of them are eager to do their best to find Sita for the pleasure of Lord Ram. So let's quickly continue reading from what are the various monkeys doing. Let me share my screen. Okay. When they had finished eating, yeah, so we saw how this there was this Swayam Prabha, right? She was actually a demoness, right? But she was actually an ascetic lady who was glancing at the monkeys, right? And the monkeys were also gazing at who is this particular lady, right? And she was very pleased that these monkeys, what are they trying to do? They're trying to use this opportunity to serve Lord Ram. So what does she do? She also helps them, and they also tell her, right? She feeds them sumptuously, and the monkeys also tell Swayam Prabha, the ascetic lady, about what is their mission. And when she hears about their mission to find Sita for the pleasure of Lord Ram, let's see what she does. Like that. Okay, Shobha Malaji, please go ahead. When they had finished eating, the hermitage asked them to close their eyes from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Shri Ram. When they had finished eating, Hermites asked them to close their eyes and she would take them out of the cave. The monkeys compelled, and in a moment they mysteriously found themselves again standing at the entrance of a cavern. Sayamprabha told them to continue their search and then took her leave, up, disappearing back inside. The monkeys stood outside this cave, amazed but refreshed from their celestial repast. They carried on vigorously searching and soon searched the southern ocean. Realizing that they had looked everywhere in the whole southern region without success, they fell prey to anxiety. It was now more than 6 weeks since they had left. The monkeys were fearful of Sugriva's anger when they returned, and they sat together discussing what to do. Agada spoke, "The king will certainly have us all put to death upon our late return unsuccessful in our mission. Therefore, I suggest that rather than return in shame, we sit here and fast until life leaves our bodies. How can we go back and face execution in front of our near and dear ones?" Some of the monkeys agreed, and others recommended they continue searching for some time before giving up. One of them suggested they re-return Swayamprabha's cave and live out the rest of their days happily. This met with approval from other monkeys, but Hanuman disagreed. "I don't approve of this course of action. O Vanaras," he chided. forgetting our master's cause and actually forming an enmity by abandoning him is not at all a wise move, nor will Rama Lakshmana tolerate it. Those princes will tear Maya's cave us under into no time. Their arrows fall with the force of Indra's thunderbolt, all of us will be annihilated. Hanuman continued to speak, praising Sugriva's qualities. We need not fear the monkey king. He regards all his subjects with love and would certainly not kill Angada, the son of his dear wife Tara. Nor will Sugriva be harsh towards you others. We have all tried our best to find Sita and should not return to Kishkinda, reporting to the king for further orders. Angada did not appreciate Hanuman's speech. He especially disliked hearing Sugriva's praised. The monkey prince became angry. No good qualities are to be found in Sugriva. Indeed, that worthless monkey had taken to wife his mother in the shape of Tara. He locked up my father in a cave and usurped his kingdom. Although Rama rendered him a great favor, that ungrateful wretch soon forgot his debt to the prince of Ayodhya. What pity does he possess? He only instigated this search for Sita out of a fear of Lakshman. Angada still burned within from the killing of his fathers brought about by Sugriva. How could Sugriva ever be kind towards the son of his mortal enemy? Now there would be more than sufficient excuse for him to punish Angada, who had failed in his mission and had committed treason by sowing dissension among the other monkeys. He was sure that Sugriva would either kill him outright or cast him into chains for the rest of his life. Angada determined to sit there on the bench and fast until death. He sank to the ground weeping, his mind confounded by grief and despair. With the exception of Hanuman, the other monkeys sat next to him, denouncing Sugriva and praising Bali. They all sat on kusha grass with their face turned to the east, thinking of Sugriva's fury and Rama's prowess. They prepared for death. As they sat there roaring in dismay, they suddenly saw an enormous bird came out of mountain cave. The bird looked upon the line of monkeys appearing like a row of mountain peaks on the plateau beneath him, realizing they were observing the Praya vow of fasting until death. He said to himself, surely this food has been ordained for me by Providence. After a long time I shall eat sumptuously, feasting upon this line of monkeys one by one as they fall dead from starvation. The bird dropped down and perched near the monkey. Seeing him there, Angada turned to Hanuman and said, surely this is Yamaraja, came in person to punish us for failing to serve Rama's purpose. This bird reminds me of Jatayu, about whom we were heard from Sugriva. That glorious bird laid down in his life for Rama in a fierce battle with Ravana. We shall also now give up our lives in Rama's service. Alas, like that heroic vulture, we too have failed to save Sita. The great bird heard him speak. He called out to Angada, who is this? Who mentioned Jatayu? Where is that younger brother of mine? I have not seen him for so long. My heart trembles as I hear you speak of his death. How did he encounter the king of Rakshasas? If it pleases you, O monkey, pray, tell me everything you know. The bird told them that his name was Sampati. He lived high in the mountains, unable to fly because his wings had been burnt by the sun. He had lost touch with his brother Jatayu for many years. Agada told the bird everything about himself and his companions. He narrated the story of how Jatayu had died protecting Sita. Now they were searching for the princess and had given up hope. Thus they sat there, fearful of Sugriva and Rama and awaiting only death. Sampati cried out in anguish. His eyes filled with tears, and he said to Angata, Jatayu was dearer to me than life. Now he is killed by the Rakshasa, and I can do nothing to avenge him. Oh monkeys, I am old and worn out. What then can I do? Upon hearing this terrible news, Sampati explained how a long time ago he had flown with Jatayu to heaven. As we soared upwards, We perceived the earth with her numerous mountains as if she were covered with pebbles. Her rivers looked like so many threads. Great cities seemed like chariot wheels and forests like grassy plots. Tears fell from Bird's eyes as he recounted how he had lost his brother. We had wanted to follow the sun as it coursed through the heaven. When we reached the track of that fiery globe, however, we became overpowered by its rays. Jatayu had grown weak from heat and exhaustion. I therefore covered him with my wings to protect him. We then fell back to earth where we became separated. I fell on to the Vindhya mountains with my wings completely destroyed by scorching rays of the sun. Angada looked at the wingless bird. He must know all the regions of the universe. Surely he knew where Ravana lived. Perhaps there was still hope. The Vanara asked Sampati, can you tell us where lies the abode of that vilest of all beings, Ravana? Sampati had slumped down in sorrow, but upon hearing Angada's question, he lifted his head and opened wide his eyes. Although I am an old and useless bird, I can still render some service to Rama. If only with my speech I do indeed know where Ravana lives. In fact, as I lay upon this mountain some while back, I saw him flying by holding Sita. The princess was constantly crying out, Rama, oh Rama, Lakshmana, help. The bird told Angada and Ravana dwelt in Lanka, which was
Thank you,
situated
Mataji.
with the Haribol. Thank you, Dandavats Mataji, Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Yeah, so it's very wonderful how one more Jatayu's brother is also come into the scene right now. We all heard and saw and actually experienced how Jatayu laid down his life for the pleasure of Lord Ram. Actually, he did not, he was very old. It was not possible for him to defeat Ravan at all. But then what happened? He just wanted that Muhurta, that Kala to actually pass. So that it becomes, not an auspicious Kala for Ravana to abduct the Maya Sita. So in that way, Jatayu fought with Ravana and finally lost his life. But now, since the Vanaras were also not making any progress, they all decided that I will go, I will also die. We'll all starve and die. And that time they mentioned about how Jatayu also had actually had given up his life for the sake of Lord Ram. And now Jatayu's brother Sampati, who's a vulture, who's there, his wings is all cut down. He's not able to fly also. And when he hears his brother's name mentioned, then he comes forward. He understands that Jatayu has actually been killed by Ravana. So he wants to take avenge for the death of his brother Jatayu. Right? And then what does he say? I know where Ravana is, because although Jatayu had actually helped, Sampati could not help at all because his wings are totally cut out. He could not even fly, but he could hear Sita Devi shouting, Ram, Lakshmana, help, 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 like that. So now, with the help of Sampati, they will know that Ravana is actually in Lanka. And for that, they have to cross this ocean and go. And then they are all going to see who will be able to cross this ocean. That is the time when Jambavan will actually remind Hanuman that you will be able to cross over the 100 yojanas and you will be able to go there. And everybody was willing to jump across. And some was saying, and I can jump 20 yojanas, Nala, Neel, and all of them. They are saying, I will be able to jump 20 yojanas, 50 yojanas, etc. So everybody was willing to do their best in the service of Lord Ram by trying to find Mother Sita. So the Lord is not pleased by our strength, because the strength is given to us by the Lord only. But the Lord is pleased by our desire to serve Him with all the resources, with all the strength that we have. If we want to always please the Lord by engaging in the service of the Lord is already pleased. The Lord is not interested in our results, right? Because the results are also given to us by the Lord only. So what do we have of our own that is not interfered to by the Lord? It is only our desire. It is only our free will. If you employ that free will, that desire in service of the Lord is automatically pleased. All right. So let's see what the Vanaras do um, after Sampati tells that he knows who is abducted, it is Ravana, and he stays in Lanka. So let's see what happens now after they get to know Sita's whereabouts. Okay, Leela Nandini Mataji, yes, Mataji, please go ahead. The bird told Angada from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare-
The bird told Angada that Ravana dwelt in Lanka, which was situated in the midst of the southern ocean, 800 miles away. The princess was being held captive in Ravana's garden, guarded by fierce Rakshasis. Sampati possessed the ability to see Lanka even as he spoke to the monkeys. He said, "Although my wings are broken, my vision is not impaired. We vultures are capable of sighting objects at a great distance. Furthermore, by my intuition, I can understand that one of you will soon see Sita, and then you will return again to Rama's presence." Requested by Sampati, the monkeys took the bird to the seashore where he offered water to the departed soul of his brother. He then told them more about himself. When he had first fallen to the Vindhya mountain, he had spoken with a rishi named Chandrama, who was living there. The bird had fallen at the sage's feet and related his sad tale, weeping. Sampati had said that he wished to throw himself from the mountain peak and end his life. The rishi restrained him, telling him that in the future some monkeys would arrive at that spot, searching for Rama's divine consort. "Although I am able to give you your wings back, I will not do so, as you are destined to render a service to Rama through those monkeys. You must remain here and tell them where to find Sita. At that time, your wings will again be restored." Sampati said the rishi had then enlightened the bird with spiritual knowledge. He had told him that bodily sufferings must be borne by everyone as a reaction to their own past deeds. One should nevertheless realize that the real self is different from the body. Without being overly attached to the body, one should try to fix the mind on the Supreme Lord, with whom all beings have an eternal relationship. Thus, Sampati should not lament for his broken body. He should live there patient, patiently thinking of Rama and waiting for his chance to render him some service. Sampati concluded that was 8,000 years ago, and I have survived here all this time, being brought food by my son. Now at last I have performed my service to Rama. Even as Sampati spoke, a beautiful pair of wings sprouted from his body. He rose at once into the air and called down to the monkeys, "O Vanaras, Chandrama Rishi told me you would succeed in your mission." Indeed, he said, the servants of Rama could easily cross the terrible ocean of birth and death. What then of this small sea? Take heart and go to the south. Cross the ocean and you will find Lanka, where Sita is held. Farewell. The bird disappeared into the sky, leaving the monkeys to continue their search. They were overjoyed, abandoning all thoughts of fasting until death. They leapt into the air, raced down to the beach, and rode with glee. Then they saw the billowing waves. How could they possibly cross the ocean? They did not possess the power of flight. The vast sea stretched into the distance, looking as insurmountable as the sky. Angada asked, "Which one among us can leap crosses the sea? Who shall become the deliverer of the monkeys today? If any among you can jump over the ocean and reach Lanka, speak out and remove our fears." The monkeys all remained silent, gazing with unblinking eyes at the roaring sea. Angada spoke again, trying to inspire them with confidence. "I have no doubt any one of you is capable of this feat. As far as I am considered, as far as I am concerned, I can certainly leap 800 miles, but I do not know if I shall be able to return safely." Angada looked around at the party. Among them was Jambavan, a great leader of the bears, who replied, "It is not right that you, our prince regent, should go on this expedition. Although you could leap 1,000 or even 10,000 miles if you wished, one of us should go instead." Jambavan said that he himself could only cover 700 miles, having grown old. Each of the monkeys then stated how far he could leap. Some said 100, some said 200, and some 500 miles, but none said they could leap the full distance and return again. Jambavan then spoke to Hanuman, who was sitting silently. "O valiant monkey, you have not told us of your strength. I know you to be possessed of tremendous ability." Jambavan described Hanuman's birth and power. The monkey was begotten by Vayu, and soon after his birth, he had leapt into the sky for thousands of miles, wanting to catch the sun. At that time, he had been struck down by Indra. Hanuman's father, the wind god, became aggrieved at seeing his son killed and ceased to blow. All created beings then began to suffocate due to the stoppage of air in the universe. The gods sought to appease Vayu by bringing Hanuman back to life. They had also blessed the monkey with many wonderful powers. On the strength of the gods' blessings, Hanuman had become fearless even as a young child. He had played in the hermitages of the rishis, mischievously throwing about their paraphernalia and stopping their sacrifices. To check him, the rishis had uttered an imprecation. You will forget your great power. Only when you hear your powers described by another will you again remember them. Jambavan concluded his narration about Hanuman. There was no doubt that he could leap to Lanka. Why then was he sitting there indifferently? Could he not see the monkeys plunge into despair? Hanuman stood up. Jambavan's speech had ended the Rishi's curse. He remembered his great prowess and felt encouraged by Jambavan. With a great roar, he said, I shall jump across this mighty ocean. He then expanded his body to 50 times his normal height. Stretching his arms and yawning, he spoke in a voice that resounded like thunder. I claim my descent from the mighty Vayu, who circulates through all of space and easily smashes down mountain peaks. I could leap to the outer limits of the universe. I am quite able to overtake the blazing sun as it moves from the east across to the western mountain. Today I shall leap from Mount Mahendra, scattering the clouds, shaking the mountains, and drying up the sea. I will swiftly and easily reach Lanka in one great bound. Have no fear. Hanuman roared again and again, filling the monkeys with joy. Jambavan replied, our grief is now dispelled. We are depending on you, O gallant monkey. We shall stand on one foot in yogic meditation here upon the seashore, praying for your success until you return. Hanuman reassured the monkeys further. He asked them what he should do. Should he annihilate the entire Rakshasa Hodi and rescue Sita? Or should he single handedly kill Ravana, uproot Lanka, and carry it along with Sita? Carry it along with. Mataji, so scroll on, Mataji, please. Sita back to Rama. Or should he single handedly kill Ravana, uproot Lanka, and carry it along with Sita back to Rama? Angada asked him to first locate Sita and then report back, for that was Sugriva's order. In consultation with Rama and Sugriva, they could then decide on their next course of action. Hanuman bowed to that instruction. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, I was on mute. Hare Krishna. Danat Pranam. Thank you, Mataji. So
Thank
this
you,
is
Mataji.
interesting, right? Everybody is telling their own capacities or capabilities. I can jump so many miles. I can jump so many miles, and they're also willing to jump, so that they can serve Lord Ram. But then finally, who reminded Hanumanji? Jambavan reminded Hanumanji. Hanuman himself had lost his powers, right? It means a person can be extremely powerful, but if that power is not utilized in service of the Lord and his devotees, then by the curse of the Vaishnavas, right? Such a great person also may seem to be powerless, right? Hanumanji had such great power, but because he was disturbing, although he is a devotee, right? Yet he was still disturbing the rishis, and the rishis cursed him that you will not remember your powers at all. So, what is the use of the entire power if those powers are either misused or if the power is forgotten? What is the use of having such power? So, hence, especially those who are in a very responsible position, those who have power, etc., they have to be very, very careful how they utilize everything in the service of the Lord and his devotees. So they got a curse, but yet since Hanuman had the service to be done for Lord Ram, they told that if somebody else would remind you of that power, then you will remember that power. So Jambavan reminded Hanumanji, and as Jambavan was telling, these are the powers of Hanumanji, you are the son of Vayu. Then Hanumanji became big and big and big, and yet now he was very confident of crossing over the entire ocean and reaching Lanka. And he wanted to, bring Sita back single-handedly, right? Kill Ravana and bring back Sita. But Angada had heard the instruction of Sugriva very clearly, right? Anyways, Hanuman would also make that proposition to Sita when he actually meets Sita during the when he meets Sita Devi in Ashokavan, right? He actually will tell Sita Devi the same thing, that I can kill Ravana and I can carry you. But Sita Devi will say that that's not that would undermine the power of Lord Ram. So I want Lord Ram to come and take me in all glory back to Ayodhya, like that. So in this way, we see that now that Hanumanji is now going to fly to Lanka. Now very soon he will meet Sita Devi, and then they will devise a plan, come back to Sugriva and tell the plan, discuss with Rama and Lakshmana, and in this way they'll devise a plan how Mother Sita can be united with Lord Ram. So the purpose of all of these things is to engage everyone in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The more we engage in the service of the Lord and His devotees, the more we will be blissful. Otherwise, Sampati also was waiting, isn't it, with his wings cut down. He was only willing to wait and grow his wings only when he does the service of telling the Vanaras about where Sita Devi was carried by this Rakshasa Ravana, like that. Okay, the last part of it, let's request Sarva Gopeshwari Mataji, please go ahead and read. Hanuman, go to that instruction from there.
Dandar Pranam.
Dandavat.
Hanuman bowed to that instruction and bounded to Mount Mahendra a few miles away. Its peak piercing the clouds. He ranged up the side of the mountain and stood on its summit. As he stood there, roaring, gods and siddhas assembled in the sky above him, uttering benedictory hymns. They dropped celestial flowers and beat their drums. The huge monkey folded his hands to the east and offered respects to Vayu, his father. He concentrated his mind and gazed south toward Lanka. Hanuman felt honored to have such an opportunity to render Rama a service. From his first meeting with the prince, he knew Rama to be his eternal master. He felt Rama's ring bound in his cloth. Sita's would be overjoyed to receive that token and know that Rama would soon arrive to rescue her. With a sense of elation, Hanuman contemplated approaching Rama with the news of Sita. He squatted down and prepared to jump. With a great cry of victory to Rama, Hanuman sprang towards with a tremendous force, pressing the mountain deep in the earth. Animals rushed down the mountainside in all directions. The rishis engaged in meditation in the mountain forest were startled and rose into the air. Great serpents moving about this on the side of the mountain became furious and bit the rocks, which then glowed red from the serpents' virulent poison. All the trees shook and shed their blossoms, and the whole mountain appeared covered with flowers. Large fishes appeared in the mountain, and different colored streams issued out. As Hanuman leaped upwards, Mount Mahendra presented a beautiful sight, and the monkey gazed up in wonder and awe. And then they went down on the beach to begin their wait for Hanuman's return. Hare Krishna. Chapter 13, Hanuman leaps to Lanka. Hanuman flew forcefully into the morning sky. Trees, shrubs, and flowers flew behind him in the wind raised by his movement, like relatives following a dear one setting out a long journey. Hanuman thought of Rama. Sampati was right. Simply by remembering Rama's name at the end of life, anyone could cross the entire ocean of material suffering. These 800 miles were nothing. Hanuman felt confident of success as he soared toward Lanka. Soon he would reach Sita and reassure her. If any Rakshasa tried to stop him, that would be their last act on the earth. He would dispense swift justice to the Rakshasa. Then returning to Rama's presence, he would await further commands. As the flowers following Hanuman fell into the dark blue ocean, they made the sea appear like the star-spangled firmament. The trees dropped with great splashes like meteors fallen from heaven. Hanuman's outstretched arms looked like a pair of five-footed serpents risen from the mountain's top. The great monkey seemed as if he were drinking of the vast ocean and swallowing in the sky. His eyes blazed like two sacrificial fires, and his coiled tail flew behind him like a flag. His reddish brown face shone like the sun, and the wind rushing past his armpits thundered like a cloud. He seemed like a comet moving through the heavens with its fiery tail. Hanuman's reflection in the blue sea appeared like a ship rocking with the speed over the large waves that were raised by the wind of his flight. As the sea rose up, it revealed whales, sharks, serpents, thrown about in confusion. Hanuman rushed through the sky like a winged mountain, drawing behind him white and red hued clouds. As he entered and came out again from the cloud, he appeared like a shrouded and visible moon. Gandharvas with their wives rained flowers on him. Even the sun, honoring his service to Rama, did not scorch him. The wind god raised with him, fanning him with a gentle breeze. Gods and rishis extolled him along with the Nagas, Yakshas, and other celestial beings. The god of the ocean observed Hanuman flying above him. He considered how to render him a service, thereby pleasing Rama himself. In his depth, there was a large mountain named Mainaka. The ocean god approached Mainaka and asked him to rise above the water, offering his peaks to Hanuman as a resting place. The mountain ascended and began to grow upwards. It emerged from the sea with a great roar, foaming billows falling with a crash on all sides. The golden peak mountain rose swiftly and shone beautifully, with Nagas and Kinnaras spotting on its slopes. Hanuman saw the mountain ahead of him, filling the whole sky, and he thought it would be the obstruction. He prepared to strike it with his chest. The mountain deity assumed a human form and stood on its peak. O Hanuman, I requested by the god of the seas, who wishes to serve Rama, I am here to offer you this shelter. The sea god was formerly rendered a service by Rama's ancestor Sagara, who filled the ocean when it had been dried up by an angry Agastya Rishi. I too am indebted to your father Vayu, who once saved me from Indra. Mainaka had told Hanuman that in a long past age, many mountains flew in the sky. Afraid of the mountain, the rishis asked Indra to cut their wings with his thunderbolt. Vayu had saved Mainaka from Indra. The mountain, therefore, wished to repay his debt to Vayu by serving Hanuman. He asked the monkey to alight on its peak and rest for a while. But Hanuman was not inclined to stop. He replied to Mainaka, I am grateful and thank you for your offer, but the time for resting has not yet arrived. My duty is not yet done. Please forgive me. You have already rendered my service by your kind words. Now please allow me to continue. Hanuman respectfully touched the peak of the mountain and then rose still higher into the sky. The mountain and the sea god both looked up at him and offered prayers and benediction for his success. Indra and other gods also watched Hanuman. They were astonished to see his power. Desiring to test him and see more of his prowess, they approached Surasa, the mother of the Naga. They asked the snake goddess to assume the form of a Rakshasi and stand before Hanuman. Indra said, we want to see his power as well as the further expand the fame of his great servant, of Rama. Let us see how he overcomes you, O Naga lady, for he will be greatly tested when he reaches Lanka. Surasa went into the sea and suddenly rose up in front of Hanuman in the form of a vast and terrible Rakshasi. She boomed out to Hanuman, the gods have ordained you to be my food. O Jal among the monkeys, quickly enter my mouth. Brahma has granted me a boon that none who come before me can escape being eaten. Surasa opened her carnivorous mouth, which was set with a rows of fierce teeth. Hanuman smiled and said to the Naga goddess, I am on a mission to serve Rama, the Lord of the creation. You should not impede me. If I must be eaten by you, then pray, wait here. Once I have completed my duty, I shall doubtlessly return and you may devour me as you please. The Naga replied that he would not be able to pass her by, for such was the boon given by Brahma. She expanded her mouth even more as Hanuman came closer. Her jaws stretched over 8 miles, but Hanuman quickly grew into 16 miles. She then expanded the mouth to 20 miles, and Hanuman again exceeded the size of his body. As the Naga grew even further, Hanuman suddenly contracted himself down to the size of the thumb. Entering the mouth, he went inside the throat and quickly came out again. He returned to his normal size and said, I have honored Brahma's boon. Now let me pass and fulfill my mission. I wish you well.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Thanks. Hare Krishna.
So this is very interesting how all the Devatas and Gandharvas, they're all testing Hanumanji, right? The more devotee is tested and the devotee comes out in flying colors, the more the glory of the devotee is known to everyone, right? So here we see here that while the Mainaka mountain was offering a place of rest to Hanumanji, Hanumanji was not willing to rest until his mission is accomplished. That's one. Secondly, this demoness, right, who's in the form of a demon, right, when she's actually she's got the benediction that whoever comes into her mouth, she will eat them up, and Hanumanji is not willing, is willing to even be eaten up by the Rakshasi, right? But what is he saying? Let me finish my mission of finding out Sita and going and informing Lord Ram about it, and then I will come back and then you can eat me. But the Rakshasi saying no, no, no. And how does Hanuman show his prowess? He's not just brawn, but he's also brainy, isn't it? So what does he do? He grows big, 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 and then when the Rakshasi also opens her mouth, big, big, big expands. And similar, immediately he becomes into a small form, quickly goes into her mouth and comes out. In that way, he fulfills her desire, and yet he is on his mission without anything impeding his journey to Lanka, where he is going to find Mother Sita and return back to Lord Ram. So with that, we'll end our today's session. So let's quickly see who are all there. Quickly we'll do Harinam Sankirtan. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sita Ram Sita Ram Jaya 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 Sita Ram Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sita Ram Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Gurudev Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सीताराम लक्ष्मण शत्रुघ्न हनुमान जी की जय, अनंत गौती वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for joining in. Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Tomorrow again we will meet at 4:30 a.m. with our Shikshashtakam prayers and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then tomorrow is Saturday, so we'll meet again next on Monday at 1:15 p.m. One Monday is also Ekadashi. So 1:15 to 2, we'll have a special Ekadashi session wherein we will read the Ekadashi Mahatmya, and then we will sing this beautiful bhajan Yashomati Nandana, and then continue with our Bhagavad Gita study and also memorize 2 verses, chant 1 round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and do Harinam Sankirtan for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Ekadashi Mahamotsava ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai, Sitaram Lakshmana Shatrugna Hanuman ji ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Ramayana ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.